Hi dear students, in this video I'm going to explain inverse of a matrix, and here basically the definition of inverse matrix and singular matrix. Let A be two square matrices with dimension n times n. It means that for the invertible matrix we should firstly get the square matrix. If it is not square, you cannot get the inverse of it. Then B is called the inverse of A if and only if A times B is equal to B times A should be equal to identity matrix. So from A times B should be identity, and B times A also should be identity matrix. A matrix which has inverse is called invertible matrix. A matrix which does not have an inverse, it is called non-invertible or singular matrix. It is called also these are the definitions. So here it is given in the example A and B matrices, and we are going to show that A times B, firstly A and B inverse of each other, but I'm going to show firstly A times B is equal to B times A. Here A times B, firstly let's start, which is equal to 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1 and 1, then times 1 minus 2, 1 and minus 1 it's going to be. You remember that we are multiplying rows by the columns. So here the first one, minus 1 times 1, it's going to be equal to minus 1 plus 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Minus 1 times minus 2 is equal to plus 2. 2 times minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Minus 1 times 1 is equal to minus 1. 1 times 1 is equal to plus 1. And minus 1 times minus 2 is equal to plus 2. And 1 times minus 1 is equal to minus 1. As you see, the answer is here A times B, 1, 0, 0, and 1. Let's check B times A quickly. B times A is equal to 1 minus 2, 1 and minus 1 times minus 1, 2 minus 1 and 1 it's going to be. So what should be here? 1 times again I'm going to show the rows and columns rule here. Rows to columns, we are multiplying. Minus 1 times minus 1 is equal to minus 1. Minus 2 times minus 1 is equal to plus 2. 1 times 2 is equal to 2. Minus 2 times 1 is equal to minus 2. 1 times minus 1 is equal to minus 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is equal to plus 1. 1 times 2 is equal to 2. Minus 1 times minus 1, it's going to be equal to 1. Minus 1 times 1 is equal to 1, which is equal to 1, 0, 0, and 1. As you see, A times B is equal to B times A. So A is inverse of B, or B is inverse of A, we may say. Okay, let's continue with the rule of inverse of matrix. Here there is a rule for whole 2 by 2 matrices. When you have matrix A is equal to A, B, C, D, then is invertible if and only if it says here A times D minus B times C shouldn't be equal to 0. So if they are equal to 0, it is not invertible. That's the case, by the way. And if the inverse exists, it is given by A inverse. It should be equal to 1 over A times D minus B times, here this is called adjoint matrix also, D and A switch their places, B and C they're changing their signs. I'm going to explain how it should be here. If you want to find the inverse of 2 by 2 matrix here, only I'm going to apply the formula. A inverse, it's going to be equal to 1 over A times D. Here this is A, this is B, and this is C, and this is D. We are going to accept like that. Minus A times D, B, C times, it should be here, D and A, they switch their places, A and D, they switch their places, then you are going to change the sign of B and C. That's the way to memorize maybe. Let's see, the numbers are here. A is equal to 1, so 1 over A times D, 1 times minus 3, 1 times minus 3, minus B times C, minus 1 times 4 it should be. Okay, then D and A switch their places. D and A, minus 3 and 1, they switch their places. Minus 3 and here 1. And minus 1 and 4, they switch their sign, which is 1 and minus 4. So let's see what is the answer here. Let's do this calculation. 1 times 1 over minus 3 minus 4, it's going to be minus 3 times minus 4, it's going to be equal to plus 4 times here minus 3 minus 4, 1 and 1 it's going to be, and this is the last part. Now 1 over 1 it should be 1 over 1 times here this matrix minus 3 minus 4, 1 and 1. Then 1 over 1 is equal to 1. When you multiply, that's going to be A inverse here. It's going to be equal to, I'm going to write directly, minus 4 minus 3, 1 and 1 it should be. Okay, so by using the rule, you can find the inverse of matrix like this. Okay, here there is another example for the inverse of matrix, which is here A inverse if A is equal to 1, 5, 2, 3, and I'm going to apply directly the rule. Here A inverse it should be equal to 1 over A times D. It says A times D. I'm not going to write the rule because the rule is already here, and directly I'm going to find the values A, D, and here B and C, these are. So 1 over A times D, 1 times 3 minus 5 times 2, it's going to be BC, then times A and D, they are going to switch their places, 3 and 1, here it's going to be, and minus 5 and minus 2, it's going to change their 5 and 2, they are going to change their signs only, and here 1 times 3, it's equal to 3 minus 10, it's times, times, then this is going to be equal to 3 minus 5 minus 2 and 1. Here this is going to be equal to 1 over minus 7 times 3 minus 5 and minus 2 and 1. Here this is the scalar that you should multiply by inside, which means that here this number you are going to multiply one by each number here. I mean this one, then this one, then this one it's going to be. So which means that it's going to be like is equal to 3 times minus 1 over 7, which is equal to minus 3 over 7. The sign can be written in front. Minus 1 over 7 times minus 5, it's equal to 5 over 7. It should be minus 1 over 7 times minus 2, it's equal to plus 2 over 7. And the last one, 1 over 7 times minus 1 over 7 times 1, it's equal to minus 1 over 7 it should be. So this is the inverse of the function A, it should be. Okay, this is the last question that we are going to solve for this lesson. For which values of x does the matrix A has no inverse? As I explained here, has no inverse means A times D minus BC, which is in the formula 1 over AD minus BC, should be equal to 0. So in this case, if it's equal to 0, it has no inverse. And it says that find the value of x here. Does the matrix A has no inverse, which means A times D minus BC, it should be equal to 0. A times D minus BC, it should be equal to 0. And 3x plus 1 times 2 minus 4 times 6 is equal to 0. 6x plus 2 minus 24 is equal to 0. 6x minus 22 is equal to 0. 6x is equal to 22. X is equal to 22 over 6 it has to be. I have to simplify this one like 11 over 3. This is the answer of our question.